G'day folks, Ren here, and today we are going to do my These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 Months video. Okay, so like everybody else in the booktube community, I decided to do this video because of Becca from Becca and the Books, where she gets a list of books that she kind of wants to read but kind of doesn't, and she's giving herself 12 months to read these books, otherwise they will be on hold. So I'm going to do that too, because there are so many books on my shelves and I keep putting them off. So hopefully this will give me the motivation to actually read some of these books. So first up we have The Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I do really want to read this. It sounds good from what little I know about it. It says, they killed my mother, they took our magic, they tried to bury us, now we rise. It sounds cool and I love the cover, but I just keep not reading it. And like, maybe because it's large, it's over 500 pages. Also because it's, to me, it's more high fantasy, and I know people that read fantasy don't feel that way, but I'm not the biggest epic fantasy reader, so like anything that's even slightly high fantasy is like too much for me. So I do keep putting this off, but I do really want to read it. So next up we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've wanted to read this for a really long time because of the whole circus element to this. I wanted to make this a priority last year. Didn't happen, and every time I go to do an unhaul I linger over this book because it's been on my shelves for such a long time and I never pick it up. And like, I don't know why, because like, it sounds cool, mainly because there's a circus. That's honestly the only part of it I care about. Okay, so there's a game and a circus. That sounds cool, but for some reason I keep putting this off. Okay, next we have Must Love Hellhounds by Charlaine Harris, Nalini Singh, Ilona Andrews, and Mel-Jean Brooke. This is an anthology of hellhound stories. I love hellhounds, I think they're great, so I picked this up at an op shop. But short stories and anthology collections, I'm never in the mood to pick them up. I don't know, I keep wanting to read this because, you know, hellhounds, and I do want to try reading from all of these authors. I'm interested in some of their other works. So this could be like a good starting point to see if I will like any of their other work, but I keep putting it off. So I assume these are all paranormal romances as well, because that's what most of these authors are known for. I love a good paranormal romance. I'm not sure if these are going to be good paranormal romances though, but hellhounds. I'm always up for hellhounds. Next up we have Promise of the Wolves by Dorothy Hurst. I've had this book for a really long time, and every time I do an unhaul, again, I linger over this one because I'm never in the mood to read it. But it's wolves, and from what I can tell, it's kind of like from the point of view of wolves, like real wolves, maybe? It says 14,000 years ago, wolf and mankind made a truce. It sounds cool. It sounds like it really could be from like the wolves' perspective, which, yes, I would love that. I like wolves. There are wolves behind me. Wolves are my everything. So I want to read it, but like, I'm still so unsure about what it's about. Like, is it actual wolves? Or are they like werewolves? Is this a fantasy? Is this just historical? Like, what is it? And is it worth me holding on to it? Because I really don't know if it'll be my thing, but wolves. Next up we have Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. I found this at an op shop, so I picked it up, but I honestly don't know if this is even going to be my thing. I haven't seen the movie, like I've never really had a desire to see the movie, except for the fact that Brad Pitt's in it. But like, if it's just about fighting, I don't super care. And I don't know if I actually care about this book. Gonna give it 12 months. If I don't read it in 12 months, then bye-bye. Okay, next we have Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I don't know about this one. It just seems like literary fiction, and that's very rarely my thing. From what I read on the back, it seems like our main character might have some kind of neurodiversity or some kind of mental illness, which does intrigue me, but like that's it. Because like it doesn't seem like there's any plot. It seems like it's just about this woman going about her life, and maybe her life kind of sucks. And that doesn't sound really intriguing. Okay, next up we have Alexander, Child of a Dream by Valerio Massimo Manfredi. This is book 1 in a trilogy, I think, about Alexander the Great, I'm assuming. But it's very much my style of like the point in history that we define as classical, which is that whole like ancient Rome, ancient Greek era. That's my favorite. That's one of my special interests in archaeology. So when I saw a book like this, I was like, yeah, I'll pick that up. But I honestly don't think I care enough to read it. Like, I study this stuff. Like, I study this era. It's great. But I don't know if I want to read about it. Mainly because I wonder if I would read this and then be picking out all of the like inconsistencies, maybe. And then like that would ruin my enjoyment of it. And like ancient times are rough, and I don't always need that kind of violence in my life. Okay, next up we have New Guinea Moon by Kate Constable. Now this was a totally random pick that I got at an op shop, and the only reason I picked it up was because it is set in Papua New Guinea, which is very important to my family and my family history. So my dad and basically all of his family have lived in Papua New Guinea for a significant amount of time in all of their lives, and my mother went up there, and that's actually where my parents met, which is like very cool. And my mother met her best friends there, and my brother and sister were born there. Yeah, it's a big thing in my family history. So whenever I find a book that is set in Papua New Guinea or by a Papua New Guinean author, I am always down to read it. But I keep not reading this because again, this does just seem like a literary fiction, which not my style. It seems to just be about this girl trying to find her dad. That's kind of it. I would like to give this a go just for the sake of family history. And like there's a chance I could like this. It would really depend on if I liked the main character or not. Because if I wasn't gelling with the main character, then the fact that this is set in Papua New Guinea would not be enough for me to keep reading it. Okay, next up we have Vampires of Hollywood by Adrienne Barbeau and Michael Scott. I picked this up because vampires. I really like vampires, and I thought this was really cool because it seems like it's set in like 1920s-ish. But here's the thing, the reason this is on this list is because I don't actually like books about famous people. Now, usually it's musicians that I don't really care about reading about. So maybe actors would be different. Because yeah, it's all about like the Hollywood elite, actors and producers and all this kind of stuff, plus vampires. Next up, we have The Girl King by Mimi Yu. This is a ARC copy I found at the op shop. I don't actually know much about this. I only saw this on Becca and the Books' channel, and I was in that period of my life where I was like, anything that Becca even vaguely talks about, I'm gonna buy it. So I did. This is again another fantasy, which not usually my thing, but it does sound cool in the fact that it seems kind of about female power. There are these sisters, and one of them was meant to become the new emperor, but then the dad like crowns a male cousin or something instead of one of his daughters because, you know, sexism. But it seems like, you know, they're trying to get their title back, so it sounds like it could be cool. Fantasy is very rarely my vibe, so And the last one on this list is The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. The reason, I don't even know why I put this one on this list. I think because I want to give it a go, but all I know about it is it has to do with necromancers, which is very much my vibe. But I do wonder if it's more focused on like a fantasy necromancer vibe instead of a paranormal necromancer vibe, which is what I'm more interested in. But I mean, the cover is also gorgeous, and I really want to try some of Rin Chupeco's works, and you know, necromancers. I don't know, I'll give this one a go. But yeah, that was these books will self-destruct in 12 months. Let me know if you've read any of these and if you think I will like them, or should I just give them a pass? Because I'm pretty fine with just not reading some of these. If enough people tell me not to read certain books, I won't read it. And I'll be fine with that. So if there is any books in here that you think I really won't like, let me know and I can get them out of my life and not stress about reading books that I probably won't like. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye!